In this course, we're going to discuss the mechanics of how an adjustable rate mortgage actually adjusts over the life of the loan. The rate on an adjustable rate mortgage is controlled by this formula right here. The index plus the margin equals the fully indexed rate. Now, in this equation right here, the index is the actual variable part. That's the part that changes over the life of the loan. The margin is actually set at the time of closing by the lender. Once the loan is closed, the margin does not change over the life of the loan. It's the index that varies or adjusts, which therefore causes the fully indexed rate to adjust. Now, adjustable rate mortgages almost always include caps. Caps are limitations on how much an interest rate can change each change. That you have two types of caps. The first is a periodic cap, which tells you how much an interest rate can change each adjustment, and then you have a lifetime cap, which tells you how much an interest rate can change over the initial start rate over the life of the loan. So, for example, in this 2.6, what that means is the 2 is the periodic cap and the 6 is the lifetime cap. So the interest rate on each adjustment cannot adjust more than 2% up or down from the previous interest rate. Over the life of the loan, the interest rate may not adjust over 6% above or below the initial start rate. So let's just go through a few examples. Let's say you have an adjustable rate mortgage that starts at 5%. And let's say it adjusts every year. At the end of the first year, the maximum that this loan can adjust would be up or down 2%. So it could go down to 3% or it could go up to 7%. Let's assume that this rate adjusts to 7% the first year. So at the end of year 1, we go to 7%. At the end of year 2, the maximum this loan can go is down to 5 or up to 9. Let's say it takes the full adjustment and goes up to 9. At the end of year 3, let's start up here, we're running out of room. At the end of year 3, the maximum this loan can do is down to 7 or up to 11. Let's assume that at the end of this period it goes up to 11%. Now, at the end of this adjustment, the maximum it can go is 11%. The reason for that is it has a 6% lifetime cap. We started at 5%, so because we started at 5%, we add our 6% lifetime cap. The maximum this rate can ever adjust to is 11%. So we are already at our lifetime max for this. So the loan could go down to 9, but it may not go above 11 because of the lifetime cap of 6%. Let's go through another example. This time let's use the 525. Now when you have three numbers, the first number is typically the interest rate cap on the first adjustment. The second number is the interest rate cap on the periodic adjustments after the first adjustment, and the third number is the lifetime cap. So on this loan, let's say we start at 6%. At the end of the first period, and typically these types of caps are used on hybrid ARMs, which have a longer fixed period. So let's say this is a 3-1 ARM. That means that this rate is fixed for 3 years, and then it adjusts every 1 year thereafter. So at the end of the 3 years, the maximum this loan can go to is 11%, because the maximum cap for the first adjustment is 5%. It could go down to 1% because it can go down 5% as well. So let's assume on this loan it actually adjusts to 9%. So at the end of the fourth year, which would be the second adjustment, the highest it can go is 11%, and the lowest it can go would be 7%. Let's say it doesn't take the highest it can go and it goes up to 10%. At the end of the next adjustment period, what's the maximum this can go to? Now be careful, because notice our start rate is 6% and we have a lifetime cap of 5%. So the maximum this loan can go to over the life of the loan is 11%. So even though based on this adjustment, if you looked at just the cap, the periodic cap of 2%, that would tell you could go up to 12%. But you have this lifetime cap that you're subject to. So the maximum you can go to is 11%, but you could go down to 8 because the 2% goes up or down.